what's up guys, Houston here. Look, if you have a thin credit file, okay, or you're just starting out building your credit, or you have bad credit, and when I tell people when they have bad credit, you're usually going to have to take at least 2 to 3 positive trade lines to build up your credit score. Now, can you do that with authorized users? Absolutely, but you do have to keep in mind that all financial institutions will not consider authorized users, especially financial institutions that use FICO 8 scores. So your financial institutions that use FICO 8 scores would be like American Express, which pulls your FICO 8, Experian, and TransUnion if you're a new customer. If you're an existing customer, they'll do an internal look at your credit file. But like with Chase Bank, they do FICO 8, it's Experian and TransUnion. So that's just to give you a few banks that may not, if you have a thin file or have bad credit and you add AUs to boost up the credit score, they may not calculate your authorized users, okay? So that you understand that. And also remember that when you're going for authorized users to help build up your credit file, make sure that you don't go over 3, because when you go over 3 authorized users, they can red flag your file, okay, and they'll deny you for that. All right, so that's very important. Now, that being said, let's jump into some of these here cards so that you understand how to leverage them. And because these are primary accounts, that's right, they're primary accounts, and these are the easiest accounts that you're able to get with bad credit, no credit, or thin credit file. All right, now the first one is the Chime Credit Builder. Now with the Chime Credit Builder, reporting to the credit bureau, there's no credit check. The best thing about it is that you just link up your bank account, and whatever your average bank deposits are, that's what your limit can be with Chime. All right, now the next one is Credit.ai. The same situation is that they will actually look at your bank account, so you have to hook up your bank account, and they'll give you a $1,500 credit card. Okay, they'll give you a $1,500 credit card, which is very good, especially if you're starting out and you just need a primary. And I'm going to tell you a tactic that I would do when I get approved for these here cards that's going to help you even further, especially if you're trying to get your credit score above a 700. All right, so stick with me. Now the next card is Patel 1. Now here's the thing about Patel 1. They're one of those financial institutions. They're not more or less focused on the credit score. They're focused on like your education level, how long you've been on your job, how long you've been at your place of residence, do you have an active email, active phone number, active bank account. Those are the things that they look at. So in reference to if you have a bad credit score, they may look over that if you have those other things that they can work with. Now, their limits go from 300 up to 5,000, okay, for that card, the Patel 1. Now the next card is Zolve. Okay, now with Zolve, it was actually it's a like a debit credit card thing that you hook up your bank account, so whatever your deposits are, that's what you're limited. They're a new card that's out on the market. You don't need a social to get access to this, and for most of these cards that I'm talking about, you don't have to have a social in order to get access to these cards to help build up your credit. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now the next one is OppFi. Now with OppFi, they'll give you $1,000 unsecured. They'll give you $1,000 unsecured. Now OppFi, although OppFi is not in all states, they're in the majority of the states. I think it's maybe about 6 or 7 states that they're not in. But at the same time with OppFi, because if you are familiar with they offer the OppFi credit card that starts at $1,000, but they also offer loans as well for people with challenging credit. Now, after 6 months of good on-time payment, after 6 months of on-time payments, it'll turn into $2,000. Okay, so So you have to have good on-time payments. Now, the next card you want to look at is the extra debit card. I talk about this card a lot because it's an app you can download, but they actually send you out a card. Now, with the extra debit card, again, you link your bank account, but they do report to Experian and Equifax. Now, your next card is Opportune. Opportune, they start at $300, all right? And you don't have to have a social for them. Now, the interesting thing about it with Opportune, they also offer loans as well. All right, so that's very important. Now, speaking of loans, what I wanted to share with you all, when you're building up your credit file or rebuilding your credit or starting to build your credit, it's very important to have a loan showing on your credit file. Now, some of the, if you have bad credit and you're needing money to help pay down some of your credit card debt, then you may want to look at Uprova. They offer $5,000 loans with no credit check, and what the payments that you pay, they actually will report it to the credit bureaus to help build up your credit. Then you have IndyLand. With IndyLand, with them, they offer up to $5,000, no hard pull on the credit file. Now, here's something I do want you all to know. As you build your credit or rebuild your credit, that's very important, especially with going after these primaries. With some lenders out in the market, they may not check the major credit bureaus, okay, but they may use the third-party credit bureaus, okay. So third-party credit bureaus would be like LexisNexis, or like with Clarity, which is owned by Experian, or DataX, which is owned by Equifax, or Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion, okay? So just keep that in mind in terms of when you're trying to apply for these credit cards. Because somebody said, well, I got denied or whatever. Again, it may be because you may not be in that region that they actually operate in, or or you may be in a state that they don't have a license to operate in, okay? Or there may be something on your LexisNexis or those other credit files that may get you denied, all right? So I'm just giving you a heads up. Now, the next credit card is Credit One Platinum card. With the Credit One Platinum card starts at $300, okay? And this card is designed for people with no credit, low credit score, all right? Now, if you accept the card, I think it's a hard pull TransUnion, all right? The next credit card is Tomo. Now, if you're trying to get a $10,000 credit line or trade line on your credit file, this here is the best card that you can possibly get. To get the Tomo charge card. Yes, it is a charge card. So that means you use it and you pay it off right away. It's not a revolving card. It's an actual charge card. But being able to have the opportunity, if you're rebuilding your credit or starting out to build your credit and stuff like that, having a $10,000 trade line on your credit file is very important. Now, let me say this, not everybody will qualify for that $10,000 limit. Okay, they may give you, they limits start from 100 up to 10,000. So I don't want to confuse you. Their limits start from 100 up to 10,000 so that you actually understand. The next card is Mission Lane. Now, Mission Lane starts at about 300. Now, when you accept that card, Mission Lane may do a hard inquiry on your TransUnion once you actually accept the card. All right. Then the next card is Grow Credit. Again, it's another card. You don't have to have a social. What you do is you connect your bank account. Now, with Grow Credit, that's the one that actually reports your utilities as well as your transcriptions. So your Netflix, Hulu, Spotify type of transcriptions and stuff like that. They report those type of accounts on your credit file. All right. Now, these here 10 primaries, like I said, you don't need 10. I would tell you, if you're trying to build up your credit file and you have a thin credit file, I would say the maximum is maybe 4. If you are trying to rebuild your credit file, then I would say maybe 5. You know, now if you are a person that's trying to get in with the major banks like Chase, and you're trying to keep it to a minimum, then you probably want to stick to maybe about 3, maximum 4, so that way that you can still qualify for a Chase credit card once your credit score goes up. Now, the hack I was telling you about in reference to getting these credit cards, if you use 10% or less, 10% or less, not 30%, but 10% or less, and you have all these accounts reporting, you're going to see a drastic increase in your credit score. Okay? Don't go for the 30%. Get you a few of these cards and utilize it for about 10% of it. And I would say give it about 60 to 90 days, and maybe even sooner than that, but you're going to see a drastic increase in your credit score. Now, for some of you all that may have challenging credit and need things removed off of your credit, schedule a one-on-one consultation so I can tell you how to resolve those issues. If you're trying to build a business credit or personal credit funding, click the link in the description as well. Thank you.